So this is my first video, so please be gentle on me. So my first video, I wanted to talk about like apologizing, because apologizing is very important, and I think it's critical to the fabric of any relationship that you pursue in life. You need to know how to apologize. Apologizing is important because it shows that you can take ownership of mistakes that you make. Apologizing is good because it shows that you have integrity, and it also shows that you are a dignified person and that you have self-respect, because any person that is able to acknowledge that they make mistakes is a person that is worth keeping around. I'll tell you that right now. So one key component you have to realize about apologizing is that even if you give the best apology in the world to someone, and you give the best acknowledgement about something that you've done to someone, your apologies will not always be accepted. Some people, no matter what you say to them, no matter what you do, they just do not want to accept your apology, and that is just a matter of fact of life, and you have to move on. And don't stop apologizing just because someone doesn't accept your apology. It's still important, and it's still something that you have to do moving forward, okay? Don't apologize. It can get really hairy, because when you don't apologize for things and you sort of try to like gloss things over by not apologizing or not taking responsibility, it sort of makes you look like an asshole. Even not even more of an asshole. It sort of just makes you look like immature. You look not genuine. You definitely look like you don't care about the relationship. It just negatively reflects on your reputation. You also just look like you meant to do what you did, and that the other person should sort of suck it up. And you don't want any of those type of implications by not apologizing. So it's just best you apologize, you know? So this is not all to say that, hey, you should just wake up in the morning and just like, bang out a good apology, because like, who can't, right? Like, apologizing is so simple. Why don't you just apologize? Like, no, apologies are not easy. I think it's one of the most hardest things that you have to do in any type of relationship, because who wants to sit there and basically berate themselves for things that they've done wrong, or they've been doing wrong, or mistakes they might make in the future? That is kind of difficult, if you ask me. So it's kind of like you have a bucket full of shame that you're carrying in. My mom always has a saying that says, shame isn't a load, but it breaks necks. So think about that. Um, you might be embarrassed about what you've done, and you may be shameful, and that is a big component of an apology, is just admitting that you have all these emotions based off of what you did, and most of those emotions are probably going to be negative, because if you did something that is warranting an apology, it's probably not something that's great. So you are probably going to end up saying that, you're haven't been the best person lately, but you're going to do better in the future. And that's one thing that people struggle with, because criticizing yourself, especially to someone else, is fairly hard for people. And I get it. It takes a lot of courage to apologize, because you have to be vulnerable. And then a lot of times you have to be willing to sometimes also not get defensive, because you can also be attacked by the other person and also just criticized by them for the things that you've done. And when you're apologizing, you kind of have to suck it up, because if you're in the wrong, you just kind of have to accept that you're in the wrong, and you have to like be the bigger person and accept that, people are not happy with you in this moment in time. So you have to face yourself, and then you kind of have to swallow anything that leads to reconciliation. So that's why apologizing is just not simple, but just necessary, okay? how does one give a good apology? So, there are 4 components to giving a really, really good apology. So, apologies say that there's a framework to giving a good apology. So there's actually psychologists Stephen Scher and John Darley. They give a 4-step framework for giving a good apology. So you need to, 1, express remorse for a mistake. So how do you express remorse for a mistake? Do you get down on your hands and knees and beg them to forgive you? No. So the first thing that you should do with expressing remorse should be, I'm sorry and I apologize. That's supposed to sincerely and authentically be honest with yourself and the person when you're apologizing. You're supposed to not give any ulterior motives, not a means to an end, not I'm sorry, next time. Don't give any type of, leading sort of remarks. Just be like, I'm sorry, it is what it is. And, I feel that, I'm embarrassed, I'm sorry, I'm sad, and you have to, leave it at that when you're, showing remorse. I'm really sad that it ended up this way. I'm sorry. Don't do any of that other stuff. Keep this part pretty, simple and short. It's admitting responsibility. So when you admit a responsibility for a mistake that you've made, you sort of have to do it in a particular way, in that you are not blaming anybody else. You're not bringing anybody else into your apology as in to deflect from what you did. You can't be like, yesterday I was upset because my cat, whoa. Nobody asked about your cat. And frankly, you should not be blaming your cat for you acting like an asshole. And it's not okay for you to sort of push off what you did on someone else or something else or another incident. You are responsible for what you did and you need to take accountability. And this is the part that a lot of people struggle with when it comes to an apology. When you're giving an apology and you're admitting a responsibility, you need to understand that you made the other person feel bad. So you need to take accountability that your actions caused someone else pain, you caused them strife. So you can make gestures to them and you can sort of take responsibility and you can be proportionate about what you're sort of doing to make it better and what things that you can offer to make the situation better. But at the same time, don't be tempted to, be like, this is what will fix the situation because I'm giving you something and I'm telling you what I'm gonna do to make it better. So the 4th part of the apology is that you must promise that it won't ever happen again. You don't want to become a person that becomes a serial apologizer. Have you ever met a person like that who's just they just do the same damn thing all the time, and you are just I'm sick of you because I tell you things and you just apologize, but there's never any change in your actions. So don't become a serial apologizer. Don't do that. That's annoying. And it really damages your reputation because they're gonna be like, this person says sorry all the time, but I don't really think they're sorry because they don't ever show that they're sorry by actually doing things to show they're sorry, If this part is the most important part because they don't want to tell you this part again. No one does. No one wants to be like, okay, they're apologizing, but I'm gonna have to have this conversation with them 4 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, tomorrow, 2 hours from now. No one's gonna want to reiterate themselves or have this bond again because it's like you don't even respect me. Because if you respected me, then we wouldn't be having this conversation multiple times. So if you really want to show that you're taking accountability without someone having to loom over you or be a helicopter over your actions, you promise that you're never going to do it again and that you're going to change your behavior for the better because that person deserves that. And this is vital to an apology because if you're trying to repair the relationship or trying to have someone still want to instill trust in you, this is important. Just don't do anything that they said in their apology. It's like, you really stood there and said all that for nothing. You're a liar. You're a liar. Something in taking accountability would be like, what will you do that will prevent you from doing that in the future? I think that part is important. What is it that caused you to even what caused you to do these mistakes in the first place? You have to think about that. And then once you're able to tackle those answers, then you can be like, okay, I know why I did that. Now I'm gonna put in a plan in place so I don't do these things again. And maybe just like highlight that to that person. I've taken steps to not do this again, and here's how, here's why, and this is something that I think, would benefit me, benefit our relationship. So that is how you give a genuine apology. All 4 parts. Actually, that's 8. So all 4 parts. So when you go out and apologize now, remember all 4 parts now. First, you express remorse for the mistake that you did. 2, you admit responsibility. 3, make amends. Offer some gestures. Tell them what you're going to do. 4, promise that it's never, ever, 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 ever going to happen again, okay? And that is how you give an apology. So go out there and apologize. Apologize to everyone. Apologize because you know how to do it now. Be like, hey, you want an apology? So learn how to give one. I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you the best apology you've ever had. I'm going to give you one. And I will see you guys later. Love you.